Broderick Jones needs to leave after this year. He cannot stay because he had a face mask penalty on a touchdown. It was a touchdown play. I think it was to George Pickens, and it was called back, and they had to go for a field goal because of Broderick
But that's
Jones.
offense, right?
Yeah, the Steelers' offense, they had so much momentum going for them in the first half. It was still tied by the end of the first half, 9-9. They should have had over 15 points.
They do a good job going up and down the field.
Oh yeah,
it's scoring. We had 2 touchdowns that were called off that ended up not being touchdowns. That hurt us. Okay, but I looked at going back to Giants offense.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they also had 108-yard receiving, okay? Just with one player, and that's at Darius Slayton, okay? He had 108 yards of receiving. It's like 7.2 yards throw. That's pretty good, too. So, I mean, yeah, actually, I think we've improved a lot in our secondary, defensively.
Yeah.
Probably more so than I ever thought we would. Thank goodness we have, some players that stepped up that I never even heard of prior to this year, that like Beanie Bishop.
Yeah, how he closed out the game.
Yeah, and how he had 2 interceptions last week. It's like he stepped up his game, and he's an undrafted player.
Yeah, the Steelers have a way to find the diamond in the rough.
Yeah.
A lot of the players that are late in the draft, like Peyton Wilson and Beanie Bishop and Mason McCormick, the Steelers just have a way to find these players that other teams are just overlooking. And they turn unknown players like James Harrison into someone that is a Hall of Famer or could be a Hall of Famer. Their names going across the league and stuff. And Beanie Bishop ended up winning NFL Defensive Rookie of the Month.
Yeah.
And, I mean, no one probably knew his name. I watched some podcasts.
Well, you said that at the beginning of the year. You said, look out for Beanie Bishop.
Yeah, I said that he was good because a lot of people were talking about him during the training camp, and I saw him, and he looked pretty solid there.
Who did I say look out for?
Calvin Austin. He also shined.
He's also stepping up his game. I said he was going to have a breakout year, and so far he's shined a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at like special teams, and we're doing okay in special teams. Part of that is because of Calvin Austin. But I look at special teams on the opposite side, and then Amir Smith-Marset, okay, he had 100-yard rushing or 100-yard on kickoff returns, okay, and that was over 33 yards on 3 carries or kickoff returns. That's not too good for our special teams. I mean, that's a lot of yards just on 3 carries. You know what I mean? So we need to clean up some things there. I mean, when we're...
Well, was that kickoffs or just punts?
Kickoffs, that's not punts.
Well, maybe some of what you have to look at is just how many times the Steelers had to...
due
to the amount of... Yeah. Because it changes depending on how they kick.
I realize that if he takes it in the end zone and downs it, okay, that's already going to go out to what, the 30, 35?
30.
30.
Yeah. Is that...
Okay, so he's only gaining like maybe 3 yards on average by trying to return it. But it just takes one time to break that.
Like find the...
Yeah, the hole. It only takes one, find the gap. And it only takes that one time, and he can return a kickoff return for a touchdown. It's happened in the past, and it happens on punt returns, and it happened with Calvin Austin. But you look at that Calvin Austin return for a touchdown, should that have been a touchdown? Because there's an obvious call running into the kicker, okay, his plant leg, that was not called. That should have been called. And, I love the Steelers, but that was an obvious mistake of the ref.
I was watching Peyton and Eli Manning. I was watching them as the game was going on because they have their own sort of show as the game goes on. And they said that should have been roughing the kicker right away.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they seen that, they're like, oh, is the flag for roughing the kicker? They actually got irritated that wasn't called. And I just feel like the refs the entire year.
The announcers on TV said, oh, his back was.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't listen to the announcers.
He was pushed. Okay, but he wasn't really pushed. He was touched, but he wasn't pushed into the kicker.
They didn't show enough angles of it.
As a ref.
But to me, it looks like he was touched.
As a ref, you just see your hand touching somebody's back, and you think right away, oh, he was pushed into the kicker. But if they would have reviewed that, they're supposed to review things upstairs. If they would have reviewed that, they would have said, well, that didn't really cause him. It was his momentum that caused him to hit the kicker. So that should have never been,
I just feel like the refs are getting worse and worse. There's just like way too many missed calls. Like,
gone are the good days of Ed Hockey.
For an example, okay, yes, granted, the Vikings were probably going to lose at the end of that. What is it, the Rams game?
Yeah,
they miscalled that because it should have been a face mask. Would it matter? Probably not, but they missed it.
They were already They were still 2 scores behind, right?
No, they would have had to get a touchdown and a 2-point.
Okay. So they were, and there was only seconds left on the clock. I mean, I don't think there was a whole lot left on the clock.
But all I'm saying is, I think from the entire 60 minutes, the refs need to call what they see as penalties. And a face mask and roughing the kicker.
Isn't that
both of that stuff?
See, what I don't understand about what I don't understand about the NFL is what's challengeable and what's not a challenge. Okay? And call penalty. Okay? That's fine. Can that call be challenged? I don't know. I mean, I think every call should be challenged.
You want to know?
And some calls can be challenged, other calls can't be challenged, and it's confusing.
You want to know what else is confusing? What does a touchdown mean anymore? You see George Pickens go into the end zone, land on his same foot twice, and that's just called 1 foot. All right, that's fine, I guess. But then Garrett Wilson, just the other night, what was that, like 2 nights ago or something? On Thursday, right? Well, I don't know. Like, to me,
I know.
They say the shin,
but
the thing is,
here's the thing. You could be running the ball, okay? You can be at the 10-yard line running the ball. You can jump, okay? And you don't even have, your feet don't even have to touch. You have that orange pylon. Your feet don't even have to touch the end zone. But as long as the ball goes across that imaginary line that goes around the world, okay, that's what they say, goes around the world, as long as that football crosses that line, it's a touchdown.
Yeah.
But you don't even have to be in the end zone.
No, yeah, I know.
As long as the ball goes across. So what is the difference with catching a ball and having your foot hit twice? You have possession of the ball. It's in the end zone. That's not a touchdown. Some of these rules don't make sense to me.
Like, to me, what made that play like so confusing for me is I showed that to my friend. He said it was out. The announcers initially said that Garrett Wilson touchdown was out. And they considered the George Pickens one at first glance. They said that was in. And for me, the guy didn't land completely. I don't say someone's out until their body's flesh with the ground. And sure, maybe his leg curved a little bit.
His knee hit out of bounds.
Okay, you say it went out of bounds. I noticed that kind of went a little bit. But
I mean,
it was at that point right here, I would just call that one leg. Okay, I just would consider
it
2
says,
feet.
That says 2 feet. The rule states 2 feet or any other body part. Okay, but the thing is, they had to slow that up so much where the frame was done. It's like, come on, really? That's ridiculous. It's like if this was back in the 70s where they didn't have all this instant replay and stuff, both of those plays would have been touchdowns. Okay, but considering the rules, and if you read the rules, George Pickens, touchdown was not a touchdown.
No, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't have been a touchdown. The other one, man, that's like, come on. I mean, really?
But I just think that something just needs to change when it comes to the 2 feet with one.
Offensively, we did well. Offensively, we did well in that. We had 426 yards of offense. That's the second week in a row that we had over 400 yards. Okay, of offense. Do you know when's the last time we had over 400 yards of offense?
I think last week.
No, I meant that's 2 weeks in a row that we had over 400 yards.
Yeah.
With Russell Wilson. When's the last time that we had over 400 yards? I know it's been a while.
Well, let me see real quick. I just want to see if it's on Indianapolis, right?
Was it?
Yeah, the Colts. Yeah, they had 400 yards against the Colts.
But I mean, last year, did we have over a 400-yard game last year?
I couldn't tell you.
Well, I'd love to know that stat. Yeah, this is all from last year.
Is this from last year? Maybe this is. I don't know why this website's counting downwards.
Yeah, but this is
where's the week number?
Well,
it says the Cincinnati game with the Pittsburgh Steelers was 400 yards.
Okay, that was last year.
But who knows what week number it is?
That was from 2023.
Yeah, that was November.
So we had a couple games.
And then you have the end of December where they got 400.
Yeah, so you have a couple.
I think that December one was with
that was with
Mason Rudolph. Yeah.
All right. So offensively, we did well. We know what they did offensively. I think that Najee played very well again.
He had his best game.
He always has his best game.
Yeah.
Next week, not this week, not this weekend, but next weekend, he'll have his best game. He always does that. He's a really good player. I'm telling you, they better sign him to a long term. I can tell you that.
And Russell Wilson had his best game. He had the most yards this game. Not as many touchdown drives for some reason.
But he threw that one throw and catch by Calvin Austin.
Calvin Austin.
Calvin Austin. That was really a good throw. I mean, he couldn't have threw that any better.
Yeah.
He really does know how to throw a ball. I can tell you that. You can see that. Now defensively, okay.
I think T.J. Watt really saved the game at the end.
Defensively, I don't think we're doing very well at stopping the run. We're 9th in the NFL in offense, okay? Or defense. We're 9th in the NFL in defense.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we're stopping the run very well, okay? But we got 2 sacks by T.J. Watt and 2 sacks by Alex Highsmith. So we did well there. Now, also, you had mentioned this earlier before we started the broadcast, how Russell Wilson had a fumble.
Oh, yeah, and how T.J. Watt, returned a favor and got that fumble right back.
Yeah, I mean, as a Giants fan, that must be so frustrating.
Oh, yeah, I guarantee it.
I mean, here you are. You got the momentum. You just caused the fumble.
Crucial play, by the way.
Critical.
Crucial drive.
Yeah,
for the Giants.
This needed to get them back into the game, and they get that the very next play. The good players step up.
Mm-hmm.
The great players not only cause a sack, but get the fumble recovery themselves.
Yeah,
not too many players can do that. TJ is one of them.
Yeah, I think this is just. Is this not his third fumble, like strip fumble or whatever? How he, and I think this is his second recovery, I believe.
Yeah, I don't know that, but
the first recovery was against the Atlanta because they had a bad snap. Then this was the second one, I think.
All I know is that great players make things happen, and they control the game.
Mm-hmm.
He controls the game, and having him out there was like having Mario Lemieux playing on the Penguins. Because even when we were down, you just knew having Mario Lemieux out there, there's a chance that we have a winning. And it's like having Ben Roethlisberger as your quarterback. In the fourth quarter, 2 minutes left on the clock, doing your 2-minute drill, going up the field, you just knew you had a chance of scoring a touchdown. Well, you have that with TJ on the defense. There's always, he's out on the field, anything can happen. We're never out of the game with him on the field.
Well, like you said, the secondary, they stepped up a little bit. And you said that the Giants had like a lot of rushing yards or something like that. Do you think the Steelers made the Giants one-dimensional because of their secondary? Or
they also had a couple big plays.
I know they had
downfield.
One dive bomb of a throw, and I think it was almost a sack too.
I think
Daniel Jones.
I think the thing is
so close.
The thing is that Daniel Jones, okay, and I heard this on social media all over the place. It's like there are times that he plays like himself, and then there are times that he plays
really
like himself. What I mean by that is that there are times that he can shine, and there are times that he don't look very good.
Yeah,
and there's no reason for it. Like throwing that last interception in the game. I mean, that's like,
oh, he threw that way too far above that.
Yeah, and so that's like
that wide receiver's head.
Yeah,
it was. I don't even know what he was throwing to. Didn't even touch the wide receiver's hands.
Yeah, and when he's on, he's on.
Yeah.
And when he's not, he's really bad. Going on special teams again for Calvin Austin had 73 yards on 2 punt returns.
Yeah.
One for a TD, and we talked about that. Should that have been a TD? Probably not. And we would have had a very difficult time winning that game.
Mm-hmm.
But with that said, we also had 2 touchdowns that were called back. So for every play that you have that goes for you, there's always a play or two that go against you. So that's the thing about the NFL. There's a balance. It's never like one-sided.
Yeah.
there's always plays that go for you, and there's always plays that go against you, and that's how I look at it. I wanted to go into something else here, and I wanted to, because we're heading into the 9th or the 10th week, I think it is, after this week. So next week we're playing the Commanders.
Yeah.
We're going to be getting Cam Sutton back for that game. I don't know if he'll be playing, but he's been in practices, hasn't he?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see why not.
Why'd we bring him back, and should we have brought him
back? They just brought him back probably because the secondary lacks.
Well, I understand that, and he's a really good player, but is there a certain point in time that integrity should outweigh, winning?
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I mean, the Steelers are really big on,
getting freaking divas and.
Well, I'm just saying that they're big at getting rid of somebody because of integrity. We don't want him on. He's a detriment to this team. His attitude. Well, do you think Cam Sutton's going to be? I mean, I read that news article, and I'm thinking, was 8-game suspension enough?
Yeah.
I mean, there's not, when your spouse's abuse, that's unacceptable in any, and I think the NFL needed to take a bigger stance on that.
Yeah. What I find funny is I think their suspensions are just absolutely ridiculous, because the Kansas City wide receiver, I think his name's Rashee Rice.
Okay.
He was in a head-on collision with his vehicle. He was driving like crazy. I think it was him. But it says Rashee drove 119 miles per hour before a 6-car crash. And he was in the game. I don't even think he got suspended. Did he even get suspended? I don't even know if he got suspended. Maybe a couple games. But he was back right into the
When was that?
league. This was during the off season.
Oh, okay.
I want to look into this.
As long as nobody was injured, I mean, I think his
it
license should be suspended for sure for a couple years.
It says that Rashee Rice was not suspended for his role in car crash in Dallas.
I know in the state of Pennsylvania, if you go faster than 25 or 30 miles an hour over the speed limit, that's criminal. Okay. And there's a lot of repercussions for that. One is your driver's license taken away, but you get put up on criminal charges. That's criminal driving, that type of speed.
Yeah, and no suspension, no nothing. So where's the NFL when it comes to discipline? Nowhere. That's why the people call it the National Criminal League or whatever, or whatever they call it. But felon, that's what they call it, National Felon League. But
well, driving over a certain speed in the state of Pennsylvania, it's a felony to go that fast.
They don't discipline these players.
And 119 would be that. That's all. That's ridiculous.
Now back to the game. It says that Zach Frazier and Nick Herbig will be back.
Yeah, I heard that too. Where are we going to put them?
Yeah,
Alex Highsmith's doing a pretty good job.
Oh, they'll swap Alex Highsmith and Nick Herbig out.
Okay.
They'll swap.
Well, you can't keep T.J. Watt in there all the time.
Yeah, they'll swap them.
Did you like it? Did you like how that one play in the Giants game where they switched T.J. Watt, put him on the right side instead of the left side? Did you see that?
Oh yeah, I did.
That confused the heck out of them. Did you see that? It's because they were just constantly double teamed. He always gets double teamed, but they switched him out, and that was
well, Nick Herbig is on Alex Highsmith's side, so I would see them swapping back and forth out more. But I think Nick Herbig, in my personal opinion, is the best player that we had in the draft over the last few years.
We have some good players.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good players. I think Zach Frazier's good.
But
besides the bad snaps,
but being that we spend the most on our defense of any team in the NFL, does it show?
You said defense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
9th?
I think it shows in terms of.
Shouldn't we be first?
I think in terms of consistency.
I mean, because we were first at the beginning of the year. We were in the top 3 all the time. And then in my opinion, we've gotten worse in defense. Maybe not in our secondary. I think our secondary's gotten better, but our run stop, not doing too good.
No, I watch the primetime games when I'm, at work and stuff. Like I listen to it, and every so often I watch it. And you have no idea how bad some of these defenses are.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. I think the Steelers, in terms of defense, I would say that they're at a consistent above average.
Now, offensively, especially over the last 2 weeks, and our scoring, we've gotten better and better and better offensively. Okay? We're actually ranked right smack in the middle right now. We're number 16th, our rank.
I expect that to grow.
I think that will get better. I think we'll continually get better. Do you think the Steelers are going to bring in another receiver? Do they need another receiver? Everything I'm reading, yes, they need another receiver.
I think I read something saying that the Steelers are still actively searching.
Well, the Roman Wilson's injured. I mean, it's like I haven't even seen that guy hardly play. He's played, 2 snaps?
You want to know what I think?
What?
No. I don't think they need another one. I think the weapons that they have now will be consistent enough for them to.
Well, I know that
keep on winning.
They really utilize our tight ends, and that who is it? The tall dude.
Oh, Darnell Washington.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he can push people over with just one finger.
He just looks enormous out there against anybody.
I know. He also looks really slow when he's running, but I don't know if he's just slow or just he looks that big.
It's like watching Godzilla run.
Yeah, he's like moving so fast, but it looks like he's moving slower. That's how Big Ben was.
But how tall is he?
My
goodness, he's enormous.
I need to look
because he just looks. I mean, he doesn't even have to jump for the ball. Why would you? He just has to reach up his arm.
6'7".
6'7". That's ridiculous.
Most of the players, I think, are around 6'2".
Oh my goodness.
That's actually pretty funny.
Yeah, it's like,
but
yeah, that's 6'7" without shoes. Then you put like shoes on him, he's another inch tall.
Yeah,
6'8", maybe 6'9". All depends on the shoes, the cleats, and all that. It's like, my goodness, all he has to do is go. But I wish they would use him more. I mean, I think they use their tight ends for, run blocking and stuff like that. But, it's fun to watch these players evolve.
But I don't think the Steelers need another wide receiver because I think there's a little bit of a risk with that in terms of like how well can that player develop with another team. I mean, just for an example, look at how Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers played when we played against them. They were doing awful. And we don't want to put that much dough into players and get rid of, draft picks, sacrifice draft picks for something
I heard about.
We don't know about.
Yeah, when I'm looking up stuff for the NFL this week for Steelers and just trying to look at where they stand and everything, and I just seen that one player on the Jets that dropped the ball prior to getting in the end zone. I don't even know who the player was, but it's like, did you see that play where he drops the ball?
Was that this past week?
Yeah, it was this past week.
Oh, man.
How
did they not? How did people not learn?
But here's the funniest thing. Reading everything, you'd swear the Jets lost that game. Okay? With all the negative press, you swear they lost the game. And I'm like, oh man, they lost another game. And I look it up, they won that game. It's like, what are you arguing about? You won it. And it's like, even when they win, you're mad.
I think they won it more than a few points. Like, I think it was.
No, they won by like a touchdown, but it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. And it's, but it's like, you're mad even when you win. It's like, do you feel a sense with the Steelers right now?
They won by a touchdown.
Yeah.
2 point.
Yeah. Now, do you feel that the Steelers, but they played a good team.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Texans.
Yeah, the Texans are pretty good. So, you look at some of these, like the Texans should have won that game easily. It's like, it's like these teams, like, the Ravens, they should have won against Cleveland. And it's like, so I look at the Steelers when we lose against the Colts, we lost against Dallas, and I'm thinking, we always lose against bad teams or teams that we should beat. That happens to every team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they all do that. I'm just looking for the Chiefs to have that fall from grace, okay, because they're going to lose a game this year. It's really hard to win every game of the year. And they've already won a couple games that they should have not won, that were this close.
Yeah, one penalty. Yeah. It was like a penalty play. Just because of the penalty, it saved them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, the Steelers. Do you have a sense that, because I feel this, that they're starting to gel as a team, and you're starting to see a lot more.
Yeah, for a short while, every single interview, like post-game interview, they would be really depressed.
But do you? But
now it seems like everyone's gelling.
They're showing like Russell Wilson. They're showing Russell Wilson talking to, Fields on the sidelines during the game, and they're smiling at each other. I mean, it's not like there's any like bad feelings there.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to feel like this team is starting to have this confidence level that I once saw, a few years ago when Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, and I was watching this video of Nick Herbig talking to T.J. Watt, and I think it was right after that fumble. And they were laughing, smiling.
Well, we talked about San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
They had that going on like a year ago. And they're in complete turmoil right now.
Well, everyone's injured over there.
But that can really mess up the psyche. Every team has injuries. It's whether or not you can overcome those injuries. And, and I think one of the reasons why they want another receiver on the Steelers offense is because we don't have that depth in the offense as far as receivers.
Yeah.
Okay. When it comes to like outside, defensive ends or whatever, what do you call it? What TJ Watt is. Whoa.
Oh, a edge rusher.
Yeah. So we got a lot of depth there. Okay. And, that's nice to have. And it creates a little bit stability. We have no stability when it comes to receivers on our offense. Mm-hmm. We lose one of those receivers, we become a one-dimensional team. Okay? It's nice on our running game to get Warren back, but I haven't seen Warren like where he used to be yet.
Speaking of, if we lose one of these players, I saw this video of George Pickens. There's like this tackle that occurred right in front of him, and George Pickens jumped, and he fell right onto the pile. And,
I seen that too.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like, some people are saying, well, he just doesn't want to get injured. No, it's the fact that the Steelers, their wide receiver room is mainly just him.
Yeah.
You got Calvin Austin, sure, but if you lose George Pickens, you're in deep trouble.
That's it.
He doesn't want to get injured.
And I see them getting another receiver in there. And I know they're looking at a couple, but I just have to laugh because we missed opportunities with these other receivers, and then these receivers.
Was that Brandon Ayuk actually a missed opportunity, though?
I think he was going to stay with the 49ers no matter what. I think I think sometimes you read all these articles.
Yeah,
it's like,
but
sometimes I get sick of it because it's like, come on, just go on.
It's smoke and mirrors because some people are saying he's a Steeler. He's a Steeler.
Yeah.
And there's no evidence.
I'm tired of that. I'm tired of that, like, putting the carrot in front of you. Oh, yeah. Dangling the carrot.
Yeah, and once someone gets all this attention and it turns out not to be true, that's it for them. Because I'm not going to rely on anything that they say anymore because they lied. They said the deal was done. He's a Steeler.
Yeah. Well, this week's a bye for us. We're not going to go over any game here because we'll be doing that next week. We're going to be releasing our videos a lot earlier starting next week. So, there won't be a day or two before the game. So it's going to be released much earlier in the week. We kind of worked out a schedule that we can work around. And I think it's probably going to be on Tuesday of this coming week. We'll go over the Commanders game.
Yeah, the upcoming week.
Yeah, the upcoming game.
Like we'll be recording on Monday, and we'll be releasing a episode before the Commanders game, and then we'll be doing the same thing after the Commanders
Tuesday.
Game. Yeah,
Monday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay, Tuesday.
Mondays I'm usually really packed.
Oh, you're packed.
Yeah.
All right.
Tuesdays.
Tuesday.
I thought that's what we talked about. See, still don't have it straightened out. All right, you want to?
Yeah, I'll close out.
Yeah.
God, I just pray for all the players that will be playing this upcoming week, and that they play safe and no serious injuries, Lord, and that they drive to their locations all safe and sound, and nothing gets into trouble and whatnot, and so on. And I pray that the Steelers and some of the players that are injured heal up, and I hope that the players that aren't too bad, like week by week, I pray that they heal up by the time the Commanders game comes up. And I pray all these things in your name, Lord, in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. And don't drive 119 miles an hour to go to a game.
Oh, gosh. I'll see you guys.
We'll see.
Bye.